This dream was on February 11th, 2026, 3:20 a.m., and it is called The Flood. I was in the building on the highest floor. I saw people on lower floors and on the very lowest floors. Then I saw rain come down. I saw people on the building, all floor levels, and the rain intensified. So there was a bunch of people in the building. I was on the highest floor. Pay attention to that. I was on the highest floor, and down below I saw other floors, people in the middle floors and people on the lowest floors. When the rain came down, parts of the building were cracking. Parts of the floors below were cracking. And as it was cracking, it broke off. And all the people on the lowest floor died. All of them died. And the floor above it, people died. And I saw a flood came in and it destroyed everyone on the floor below. Now pay attention, okay? Because the flood already came in, but people on the lowest floor was already dying from the rain coming in. And then a flood came in, like a big flash flood came in, okay? And then that was killing the people off that floor, but it wasn't over. When I turned around, I saw that the water and the flood was coming up higher and lightning fast, that everyone on the highest floor still had to evacuate the building and barely stood a chance if they stayed in there. We had to get out of the building and jump and let the flood take us. On the highest floor. On the highest floor. So now we're in this flood, but we're on top of it floating in the water. And I had to grab on somebody I trusted. I will not say the person's name, but I had to grab on to somebody, and we were in the flood. We were in the flood, and everybody on the highest floor was taken with the flood, but they didn't die. They were able to survive, but the flood affected us and hit us on the highest floor. Everybody on the highest floor survived. Everybody under that died. The person I was holding, we had no panic moving in the midst of this flood. But then after I was able to let that person go, and I had to, get off the flood and get away from the flood. And when I tell y'all, this flood was the scariest flash flood look I've ever seen, ever. It looked worse than what happened in Texas, billion times worse than that. And as I got off the flood, I was able to, as I was getting off the flood, okay, I was able to walk, and I saw a bunch of people in other areas completely homeless. And I don't know why I saw some Indian people there too, but they were completely homeless. And then I kept hearing a baby cry throughout the dream. I kept hearing, usually represents helplessness. Usually represents that just in a helpless state. That's another warning dream before it happened. In case y'all know, in case y'all want to ignore this one too, in case you want to ignore this dream and this warning, because when it happened, you're going to be crying in a helpless state. Whatever state you live in, or whatever condition you're in. You were prophesied by prophets to come up higher and to be on the top floor, because everybody below that floor is going to die. They didn't stand a chance. And on the lowest floor, the flood didn't even kill them. The rain did, and the breakings of the buildings. I saw people obliterated. And everybody on the top floor, the flood still came in under our feet, coming to break that building down, and we had to jump out and let the flood take us. What does that tell y'all? When I tell y'all the Most High is not playing, I'm talking he's at a level now, especially in this country. If you're not on the highest floor, you're gone. If you haven't prepared your heart, your soul, you haven't repented from your sins, and confess that Yahweh Shah is the master and the Adonai over your life, and that he gave his life for you, and that you have to stay obedient and keep the commandments, the two greatest commandments he told you. He told you that. I didn't tell you that. He told you that. So that he could have mercy on you. You're going to wait till the flood happened and then start reposting what's on Fox News, on ABC News. That's what's going to happen. You're going to wait for the flood to hit you. You're going to wait for the rocks to come falling down. You're going to wait until you die to look up and say, I really shoulda, woulda, coulda. And you got dreamers, you got prophets, you got real raw evangelist people, you got real raw people. You probably think all of them wear suit and ties. Not this dreamer. It's getting to a point, y'all just look, listen, and ignore and go back to work because you got rent due on the 1st. When it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter when that flood hits. Your rent's not gonna matter. Your money's not gonna matter. Whatever you plan on doing this weekend, in the end, it's not gonna matter. You don't want to get right. You'd rather die in a flood. And this is why when the flood happened, you'll be in a helpless state. And when you cry out, no one's going to hear you. Because you have all this moment to cry out to Abba now. You see how evil sin is? You see how bad your sinful nature is? You see how ugly it gets? You see how when you don't gotta change your heart? I try to do it, change your heart. You need to change your heart. You saw what Abba tells us in the scriptures. He works on the heart first. Then the whole body and soul can actually recover. You don't understand. You don't get it yet. Until it happens, you'll get it. But you have all this time. Procrastinators. And then the flood's gonna take you. You're gonna think, oh, I'm on the second highest floor, I'm good. Nope. Y'all don't know what Abba's judgment is, because if the people on the highest floor is barely making it, what makes you think the people below, on the floor below, has a chance? They don't. Shalom.